Imagine stumbling across a photo so shocking that even grown-ups said, "This is too much." Now, imagine that photo coming from someone who was once America's sweetheart. Sounds wild, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with Ann-Margret. She was beautiful. She was talented. She was adored by millions. But some of her old bikini photos? They're still sparking big conversations even today, and not always for the reasons you might think. So what made those pictures such a big deal? Were they really too inappropriate? Or was the world simply too strict back then? Stick with me, because this story goes way deeper than a swimsuit photo. Let's rewind. Ann-Margret was born in Sweden in 1941, and she moved to the United States when she was just a child. By the 1960s, she was lighting up Hollywood. She could do it all: sing, dance, act. And she had this electric energy that set her apart. Audiences loved her in movies like Birdie and Viva Las Vegas with none other than Elvis Presley. Yes, that Elvis. But here's the thing. Ann-Margret wasn't just another Hollywood starlet with a pretty face. She had real talent, and she worked hard for everything she got. But here's where things get complicated. The 1960s were a very different time. There was no internet, no Instagram, no TikTok. If you wanted to see a celebrity outside of movies, you looked at magazines. And back then, the world was a lot stricter about what was considered decent. Even a simple bikini could cause a storm. And that's exactly what happened with Ann-Margret. Studios and magazines began pushing actresses into swimsuit photo shoots to grab attention and sell copies. Ann-Margret was no exception. She posed for several bikini spreads, some for movies, others just for publicity. But when some of those bikinis turned out to be tiny, people lost their minds. One particular photo became infamous. Ann-Margret lying on a beach towel, wearing a shiny, barely there swimsuit. Today, you might scroll past a picture like that without even blinking. But in the 1960s, it was seen as scandalous. Parents banned magazines from their homes. Critics called it inappropriate. Some even said the photos were too adult for even adults. So why did she do it? Here's the truth. Ann-Margret wasn't out to shock anyone. She was doing her job. Hollywood in the 60s often told women exactly how to look and act. Studios wanted sexy, marketable stars. And for women, saying no wasn't always an option if they wanted to keep working. Ann-Margret herself admitted that it was a balancing act, trying to stay true to herself while also playing the game that Hollywood demanded. And of course, the reactions were split. Some fans loved the photos. They thought she was bold, confident, even ahead of her time. But others weren't so kind. They called her names, accused her of being a bad role model, and in some cases, the backlash actually hurt her career. She lost out on a few film offers because producers thought she was too much for family audiences. But here's the part that proves just how strong Ann-Margret really was. She didn't quit. She didn't let the criticism define her. Instead, she pushed forward, showing the world that she was more than just a pretty face in a swimsuit. She took on serious roles, wowed critics, and eventually won awards. She built a career on talent, not just looks. Looking back now, those old bikini photos feel almost tame compared to what we see every single day on social media. But that's the point. Times were different. Back then, those pictures weren't just about fashion. They reflected the culture, the rules, and the double standards that women faced. And that's why Ann-Margret's story still matters. It's not just about a bikini. It's about how society treated women, how fame came with impossible expectations, and how one actress managed to rise above it all. She proved that you can't reduce someone to a single photo. So, were Ann-Margret's photos really too inappropriate? Or was she simply ahead of her time? A woman unafraid to take up space in a world that wasn't ready for her? I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you see those photos as shocking, or do you think the outrage was more about the era she lived in? And if you enjoyed this story, give this video a like and hit subscribe, because we've got plenty more untold stories of old Hollywood coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, when you see a headline about a celebrity photo, there's always more to the story than just the picture.